Hi, my name is Loren, and I'm a speech-language pathologist. For the last 10 plus years, I've had the awesome opportunity to work with both children and adults with various communication and feeding-swallowing disorders and difficulties. I love what I do and would like to share helpful tips and strategies with families who are interested in helping themselves and their children improve their communication and feeding skills. I hope you will join me on this journey to better communication.
Hi everyone, welcome back again. Today I want to talk about Lisps. I want to tell you what they are, and I want to give you some techniques to help you if your child has a lisp. But before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Thanks. So let's talk about lisps. First, there are two types of lisps. There's a frontal lisp and a lateral lisp. A frontal lisp is when your child is trying to produce an S and a Z sound, and their tongue is coming between their teeth. A lateral lisp is when they're trying to produce sounds like SH and CH, and their tongues are coming between their teeth on the side. So frontal lisp, the tongue comes through the front. Lateral lisp, the tongue comes through the sides of the teeth. So next, I want to talk about some techniques to help your child with their frontal lisp or lateral lisp. My first technique is to help your child with their frontal lisp. It's called keep the snake in the cage. That's just what I call it. And it's basically a visual concept to help your child think about when they're producing their S and Z sounds, what they should be doing as opposed to what they are doing. So we know with the frontal lisp, the tongue is coming between the teeth when they're producing sounds like S and Z and words that have those sounds in them. So I will tell my kids, keep your snake in the cage. And their snake is their tongue. Sometimes make that S sound, or they go and they stick their tongue out. It reminds them of a snake. And their cage are their teeth. So to correctly produce that sound, their tongues need to be behind their teeth. So I'll tell them, keep your tongue behind your teeth, or keep your snake in the cage. The next technique is also for a frontal lisp, and I call it hold the T. You'll start by telling your child to produce a T sound. It's always good, parents, to help them model it. So, and they can try. The next step is you're telling them hold their T out. And once again, it's helpful to model it. So we start with and when we hold it out, if you notice that when you hold out that T sound, it makes an automatic correct S sound. This technique is helpful sometimes when the snake in the cage technique is a little bit hard for them. Because with this one, their tongue is exactly where it needs to be already to make that T sound, and they're just holding it out. I usually have my kids practice this on a regular basis, especially when I've noticed that they've produced it incorrectly. I'll stop them, we'll do this exercise, and then I'll try to have them say the word that has that target sound of S or T in it one more time. So this technique helps them get the right feeling and the right placement of where their tongue needs to be to reduce the times that they create a lisp, a frontal lisp. My next technique is to help your child who has a lateral lisp. And sometimes a lateral lisp is a little trickier than a frontal lisp because it comes out of the sides of their mouth. And with the lateral lisp, sometimes we hear like a gurgly sound or a wet sound when they're producing it. When you produce the SH or the CH sound, sh or ch, produce it with me. Let's try it together. Sh, ch. If you feel your tongue, you'll feel the sides of your tongue kind of at the top of your mouth. And it's because your tongue is kind of creating a bowl shape. So it's kind of when you roll, like when we were kids, we used to roll our tongue like that. So you're kind of creating a bowl shape in your mouth so that your tongue stays inside and makes room for the air to escape out of the sides to produce these sounds as opposed to out of the front. And so for this technique, you're gonna need a straw. And so parents, sometimes, it's always important to supervise your kid with something like a straw, but you can give them the straw to put in their mouth, or you can help them. I usually put the straw in about 1 to 2 inches in their mouth, slowly putting it in until they tell me to stop. And it just needs to be in there well enough so that air can flow through the straw. And what I call this technique is straw whistle. And it really speaks for itself. You're going to have your child produce as best they can the SH sound or the CH sound with the straw in their mouth. And when you hear the whistle, it means they're producing it correctly, and that means the air is not escaping on the sides. But if you don't hear a whistle sound, it means that the air is escaping on the sides. Sometimes my kids like this activity because it's fun when they hear the whistle. So the point is to make sure that your child is producing that whistle through the straw so that the sound is coming out where it needs to come out. I hope that these techniques will help you and your child with their frontal or their lateral lisp. Once again, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Thank you.